Abdullah Almalki is a Canadian citizen who was detained, interrogated, and tortured in Syria because of false accusations and information that was sent directly by Canadian government agencies to Syrian authorities. Almalki's life has been forever changed, and in light of this, he visited Concordia University to discuss the details of his torture nightmare. The discussion was followed by the film Ghosts, which details this gruesome story.
I was called to the same torture center in Syria, where I was being held before, for 482 days in a grave, and I was interrogated on a new report, which the interrogator said came from Canada, and he made a comment that the Canadians are not happy that you are released.
The Canadian government, specifically the RCMP, they set the stage by sharing false information, information which I could now with confidence say, based on documents we have, they made it up, sent to Syria and other countries, saying that I was, suggesting that I was an imminent threat to the national security and public safety of Canada.
The RCMP sent a request to the U.S. Customs to issue a lookout on me and several members of my family. Almost all my family members were listed there. They labeled us as Islamic extremist individuals suspected of being linked to the Al-Qaeda terrorist movement.
At the same time, their internal documents shows that they actually, at that time, did know that there was absolutely nothing against me and I wasn't involved in anything.
So just pray every day that the RCMP does not get a document saying somebody's name's on it, they want Jack, but you know, they don't know how to read or they don't care about the name, and they get you instead. Well, they got a document. It wasn't me. It was talking about someone else.
Abdullah became subject of interest in 2001. The fact that he had spent time in Pakistan and Afghanistan doing relief work for Human Concern International at least caused him to be a person of some interest to enforcement agencies. He had his own business, an import-export business of telecommunications equipment. His business also came under scrutiny. After 9/11, of course, all bets were off, and Abdullah was under heavy surveillance on a daily basis.
I had about 5 cars following me anywhere I went. A camera was installed in front of the house. Things really got bad and we felt that we needed to take a break. We actually decided to go and visit my in-laws in Malaysia, but things didn't stop there. I was detained there for a few hours. When I protested, I was told that, don't blame us. It's the government whom you're holding its passport asked us to do this.
Eventually, when I got to Syria, with all what they have shared and prepared and gave the government in Syria, I got detained immediately. And almost in a few hours, I ended up in a torture chamber.
They said on that first night, which actually started on Friday late afternoon, and it ended Saturday morning. They said that day I was whipped about 1,000 lashes, and whipping lasted for about 7 hours. I don't remember much at the end because I fainted. All what I remember when I came around that someone was checking my blood pressure. One of the worst humiliations that a person can have is actually having another person stepping on your head. Have a person with her or his shoe step on your cheek, put it under their feet. Well, on that day, that's exactly what they did. However, I did not have that humiliation that day. I did not have a space, I did not have the energy, the pain was overwhelming that I did not have the ability to even think about the humiliation just by the fact that they actually stepped on me. The method that they used, this is notably after an RCMP liaison officer, with the help of the Canadian ambassador to Syria, met with the Syrian the director of the Syrian military-intelligence, and after that meeting, I was put through another round of torture, and this was one of the methods they used. They used the other methods which they used before, but that was a new method they used, which was being suspended from my wrists in the air, at the same time being whipped with a belt. And this lasted till I actually physically was not able to utter a word. no matter how hard I tried, no matter how hard they would be, it just, I wasn't physically able to move my lips and say a word.
This is a picture of a replica of the cell. The width of the cell is exactly my arm length and 4 fingers wide. So this is how wide it is. It's about this photo. It's 185 centimeters deep, about that much, and less than 2 meters high. Totally dark. The bottom part, if you can notice it, it's all black, which is actually mold. So where I was, for all that time, when I was sleeping, the mold was all around me, so I could, I was always smelling mold. The blanket, which is on the ground, was full of mold, full of cockroaches, lice, and other blood-sucking insects. And some of the worst things that was there is actually hearing other people being tortured.
Well, it's 3 years of grave human rights abuses carried out by Syria on behalf of the Canadian government, Canadian agencies. I lost my family, and my kids lost me for 2 years, more than 2 years.
My reputation, my business, my career, well, all of them were deliberately, I would say, destroyed by the RCMP. Remember, there was a memo that said, well, they should be, if they should be satisfied with the prevention side of the amendment, i.e. having me locked up in Syria indefinitely. Until transparency, justice, equality, respect of human rights, and rule of law become the hallmark of our government and its agencies, we should all be worried. Until the system is reformed, we should all be worried. And maybe until we have no need for WikiLeaks to find what our government officials are doing in our name, we should all be worried.